All right, welcome to Unit 4. We're going to learn all about quadrilaterals. And remember, a quadrilateral is just a four-sided figure, but we're going to learn about specific ones and all of their properties. So the very first one we're going to learn about is a parallelogram. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral in which both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So many of the quadrilaterals are also parallelograms. So a parallelogram just means that we have two sets of sides, both sets are parallel. And there's some other important things about a parallelogram. So first of all, opposite sides are congruent. So not only are they parallel, they're also congruent. Opposite angles are congruent. Number 3, consecutive angles are supplementary. And the fourth one is that diagonals bisect each other. And I'll explain each of these. So the opposite sides, that's pretty easy. And so if you want, over here on the side, draw in a parallelogram. So the opposite sides, that means like this side and this side are the same length, and these two are the same length. Now, opposite angles, that means ones that are like in opposite corners. So for example, this one, let's put 2 dashes there, and this one. Those two are congruent. So if one of them is 60 degrees, the other one is 60 degrees, which would also mean that these two are congruent to each other. And then number 3 said consecutive angles are supplementary. So consecutive angles would be like any purple and blue, because they're kind of, if I were to work my way around the parallelogram, then I would go blue, and then the next one would be purple, and then blue, and then purple. So any consecutive angle, so angles that are along the same side, so like a blue and a purple, if I were to add those two angles, it's going to be 180 degrees. Remember, supplementary means 180 degrees. And then diagonals, a diagonal is the line that connects these opposite corners, like that. And when I say that diagonals bisect each other, that means they're each cut in half. So a lot of things going on, and that you just kind of have to remember. So we'll start out pretty easy. So we're looking for AD. AD is here. We know that that's the same as BC. So it's 8. DC is down here. That one's the same as AB, so it's 15. Now, the measure of angle A, notice D, we have D is 68. A, those would be consecutive. They're not the same. If you look at them, it should be obvious they're not the same. So I need to do 180 minus 68. And that gives me 112. So A is 112. B is the same as D, so it's 68. And then C is the same as A, so it's 112. Let's look at number 2. One thing that I actually prefer myself is if I'm doing a question like this, I like to label everything I can on the picture before I even go to the question. Sometimes I found that helps. So let's try that. Let's try to label everything we know. So JK, this would be 21. Over here would be 29. And then I know angle J has to be 127, which means that the other two are each going to be 53. Because 53 and 127 make 180. Because remember, these opposite angles are congruent. And these two are congruent. And then a pink one and a purple one add up to 180. So let's look back. JK, we said, is 21. KL is 29. Angle J is 127. Measure of angle K is 53. The measure of angle M is 53. Okay. Getting a little harder. Once we start pulling in the diagonals, it gets a little more confusing. So, let's look here. Number 3. First off, if you notice that bottom, it tells us that this entire RT is 30, which means that each of these have to be 15. Because in a parallelogram, those diagonals are cut in half. So they're both going to be 15. All right, UT has to be 27 because it's the same as RS. ST would be 18. VS, oh, and also I missed this. Right here we have 7. UV is 7. That means VS is also 7. And VT is 15. So remember that each diagonal piece, they're equal to each other. Now, not all 4 pieces are equal, but like RV and VT, they're equal. UV and VS are equal. All right. Number 4. So it tells us down here at the bottom that the entire angle FED, that's this whole angle, the whole angle is 134. And then this one we know is 71. So if we want to find the other side, 134 minus 71 is going to be 63. So 71 and 63 make that 134. Then that's also going to help us because we know what this entire angle F, angle CFE, is going to be. Because remember, a pink angle and a purple angle total up to 180. So for that entire purple angle, I need to do 180 minus 134, which is 46. So that entire angle is 46. So this would be 21. this would be 25, because 21 and 25 make 46. So let's see if that helps us get all of our answers. All right. Angle DEC, we said, was 63 degrees. Angle CDE. All right, well, that one, let's see, that's this angle right here. It's also going to be 46. ECD, that's right here. All right, so that angle, ECD. So here's something else that we have to keep in mind that we haven't talked about yet. So I'm going to erase some of this stuff. It's getting crowded. This was 63, we said. All right, so again, this is a parallelogram. So this line and this line would be parallel. If you think back, we learned about these angle pairs, alternate interior angles. So if this angle is 63, alternate interior, we learned were equal. So this one would be 63 and 71 and 71. So in parallelograms, we kind of pull in those angle pairs. So let me show you. Oops. This angle and this angle. Nope. Those two angles are the same. Those two angles are the same. Same thing for the other side. This angle and this angle. Those are the same. And this one and this one are the same. So we had 71, 71. 63, 63. 46. No. The whole thing's not 46. This one was 25, 25. And 21, 21. So, a lot of things. I would recommend you drawing and color coding this somewhere so you have it. Either here in the notes, or probably I will share a formula sheet, but the pictures with the color coded angles, and that helps out a lot. So let's go back. ECD, that's right here. ECD is 71 degrees, and DFE, that's over here, is 25. So a lot of little things that you have to remember, especially about the angles. So let's do some more. Let's label. XY is 15. I'm going to go ahead and say, well, that means WZ is also 15. WX is 22. Oh, that means that over here is also 22. It tells me that ZX is 32. What that means is that I have 16 and 16. Because 32 divided by 2 is 16. And WT is 10, so that means TY is 10. So I've just labeled. What I'm going to do is, because I don't have a ton of room, I'm going to go ahead and answer the questions that have to do with the side lengths and those segment lengths, and then I'm going to erase and we'll do the angle parts. So ZW is 15, ZY is 22, TX is 16, WY is 20. 10 and 10 is 20. So again, the segment length is usually a little less complicated. So I'm going to erase. Right. And let's actually go ahead and color code the angles that are the same. And that should help us quite a bit. Okay, so first thing it tells us is that this entire WZY is 62. So that entire angle is 62. Angle WXT is 27, which means that over here is also 27. ZWT is 77. So 77, which means that over here is 77. So now we're going to figure some things out. All right, I'm going to first go to my blue angles. I know that those two total up to be 62. So if I take 62 minus 27, I get 35. So we have 35 and 35. Now another thing I know is that this entire angle Y, so angle XYZ, to find that I have to do 180 minus 62, because remember, those two consecutive angles add up to be 180. So 180 minus 62 is 118. So together, the green and the pink is 118 degrees. So for this pink angle, I can take 118 minus 77. And we get 41. And that should help us answer all of our questions. All right. Angle TZY. That's the purple, just 27 degrees. Angle XYZ, that was that entire 118. XWT was the pink, which is 41. And XYT was the green, which is 77. Okay. Let's go here to number 6. I'm going to start out by color coding everything that I know is the same. May not help anybody else, but it makes sense to me, so. All right, to color code. All right, so let's look at angle GHF. GHF, that's right here. That one is 34 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and write 34 over here. HJF, that's this entire angle, is 124. So this one is 124. And FKJ, that's right here, is 79. All right, so let's see. We got something weird. We got something new. This is a new thing we got. So I have a triangle here. You should remember how many degrees are in a triangle. It's 180. So if I take 180 minus 34 minus 79, I get 67. So those green angles are 67. Which means the pink angles, I can do 124 minus 67, which is 57. So that's going to help me there. The only other one that I don't have is the blue angle. And so we should be able to figure out what this whole thing is. So that whole angle, remember consecutive angles add up to 180. So that one I should do 180 minus 124. So that whole angle should be 56. If the whole angle is 56, then the blue has to be 22. Because 22 and 34 make 56. I know it's really confusing, so you kind of just have to take it really slow and look back at all of the examples. All right, let's answer our questions. Angle GFJ. That's the one we said was 56. FGH, that one's 124. And if you're like, I'm giving these numbers, I'm assuming that you are able to locate the angles. If you're having trouble with that, please email me and let me know. Like you're having trouble picking out, okay, well, where is angle HFJ? So let me know if you need help with that. But angle HFJ, that one is the purple 34. HKJ. Ooh, we did not get that one, but we have a straight line. So those two angles are linear, or we could call them supplementary. 180 minus 79 is 101. So 101. JGH, angle JGH, that one is the green, 67. FGJ, that's a pink, 57. And I should be writing degrees on all of these. FHJ is the blue, 22 degrees. And GJF is green, 67 degrees. All right, I'm going to stop there. That is kind of part one. The next video we'll get into using some algebra. So, you know, we'll be doing that. You'll be doing that tomorrow, I guess. So if you have any questions on this, and honestly, it might help just to re-watch it. If you're confused, try going back and re-watching some of those examples, and because the more you hear it, it'll start to click. And then if you have questions, let me know. Have a good day.